The space race has become a never-ending saga with continuous innovative developments. After sending uncrewed spacecraft to Mars and the Moon, the latest challenge is transporting humans to these celestial destinations. Boeing and SpaceX have been in the news for the past decade with their persistent efforts and test launches. What's the progress with their deals with NASA? Welcome back to Futurism, and today we will discuss how these agencies are getting along with NASA's space missions. So, how did these companies get into the game? The world's most established space agency, NASA, is constantly striving hard to create spacecraft to send crew aboard. But time and time again, they are met with a series of challenges and defaults that prevent them from achieving their space missions. NASA has always chased technology and advancements, most recently to make a big profit on space travel for its commercial crew program. But these missions hit the ground quite literally, with many of their test spacecraft crashing or not reaching their destined orbits. NASA wants to build a reusable spacecraft designed to transport both men and payload to the most aspired International Space Station, or ISS, for a continuous research series. The mission is destined to launch a manned spacecraft with a crew of at least 6 trained astronauts. But this requires resources, money, and technology that NASA does not currently possess. Obviously, NASA opted for private agency contracts. NASA started with Boeing and SpaceX contracts about a decade ago, resulting in the most anticipated crafts from both agencies, the Starliner and the Crew Dragon, respectively. If you are a space enthusiast, you're probably aware that NASA recently auctioned spacecraft production to the private space agency SpaceX. It's clear that they want to profit from their diverse technology and manpower. Doesn't this trio sound pretty exciting? It has been the most discussed thing in the space and tech news. This proves that NASA, as always, is prepared with alternate backup plans to achieve its missions. Boeing and SpaceX are two of the biggest heads in the industry. As the contracts come to light, there was also an overflow of rumors and stories that hit the news and forums. Was Boeing commissioned with more funds than SpaceX? Did it receive the extra compensation but the same expectations as SpaceX? If so, what was the result? Was Starliner the success as expected? Let's dive into the Starliner's features to get a detailed insight into the program. Discovering Boeing Starliner. Boeing received the humongous contract of around $4.3 billion from NASA back in 2010 when SpaceX got only $2.5 million. Boeing promised to complete the project well in advance and got even more funds, a whopping $300 million to cover the swift expenses. NASA gave out a deadline of 2017, but none of these two companies made it to the date. Starliner primarily started with a multiple-purpose craft design, which would use solar-powered cells and steel heat shields to provide a rigid shell. The landing was programmed to be on land in contrast to the general water body plunging, where airbags would be used to reduce the impact. NASA even provided its docking and berthing yard of Kennedy Space Center to Boeing for the ship's development. This was obviously a drawback for SpaceX, who were given no such provisions. Starliner was designed to carry 7 crew members and ample cargo to travel in the low orbital range, easily scaling the distance to ISS. Sticking to the traditional principles, Starliner was destined to launch with the Atlas V space rocket, the most popular among NASA Apollo and ISS missions. The spacecraft contract included all the amenities to be provided to the traveling astronauts, which consisted of a robust traveling capsule, befitting uniforms, and well-designed interior space for easy use and navigation. From the second half of 2011, Boeing started the initial stage validation testing, which soon progressed to more test launches to elucidate scientists to the glitches in the system. What were the glitches found? Boeing launched its first unmanned mission for testing in December 2019, where the Starliner impressively reached orbit, but unfortunately failed to make it to the ISS. The first glitch discovered was improper time management, which led to empty its fuel well before and retreat to Earth midway. Though the craft landed perfectly in White Sands Missile Range, New Mexico, it was referred back to corrections with more than 80 recommendations to check. The NASA-Boeing team continuously scratched their heads and worked their limbs for more than a year to rectify most of the pointed drawbacks in the system, consisting of several communication issues, software programming, propellant usage, and ergonomic interior structure defaults. The second launch was positively scheduled in April 2020, but was constantly pushed back due to a series of obstructions: the major Texas power cut, the shift of ISS due to thrusters fired by Russian Nauka, and the inevitable thunderstorm dragged the date to August 2021. The launch was ready, and the ship was all set, but the problem struck just at the wrong time. 13 of the propulsion valves failed to respond, which drained the launching thrill. Starliner was shifted back to the testing dock so the issues could be recognized and solved. According to the program director, 9 valves were successfully rectified, but the root cause yet remained undiscovered. According to the troubleshooting, the valves were corroded due to the moisture that reacted adversely with the propellant hydrogen tetroxide. As of the current updates, Boeing scientists are still trying to figure out the major source of these issues. However, the predicted date for the next launch hasn't been officially announced. It still remains a dream, and we space enthusiasts will just have to wait and watch. How did SpaceX move ahead in the competition? You're probably wondering what SpaceX was doing all this time. It was obviously no less challenging for them either. Crew Dragon was also manufactured with supreme reusable design, launch escape system, and capability to carry 7 crew and cargo. In contrast to Boeing's landing on the ground, SpaceX still proceeded to have the craft follow the traditional process of water body landing. SpaceX didn't depend on the availability of the NASA Facility Center and launching rockets, and soon brought forth the Falcon 9 booster rocket series to launch its Crew Dragon. Its testing started in May 2015 and surprisingly followed a series of successful trips. But the initial phase was no good for Elon Musk either. The Crew Dragon's first demo prototype, the unmanned Demo 1, crashed on the launching base in the static fire testing. The scientists pointed out the issue in the aborting system of the ship, which was quite similar to that of the Starliner's fault with vaults. SpaceX soon came up with the modifications to develop the failed mission for successful flight. They replaced the valves with one-time use burst discs, which avoided the propellant's leakage to the helium channel. The capsule's Super Draco rocket thrusters were also aided with additional flaps to avoid the water seepage on landing. The Crew Dragon took to flight with its first manned prototype, Crew Dragon Demo 2, in May 2020 with 2 NASA astronauts. The ship successfully docked on the ISS and remained on tour for 9 weeks. Since then, it has been a parade of successful missions for the NASA-SpaceX duo, which has transported many astronauts to ISS and assisted in interorbital missions. SpaceX Crew 1, launched in November 2020, historically became the first manned mission to be launched at night and land back with a nighttime splashdown in May 2021. This 6-month-long mission with 4 crew members was a supreme example to showcase the rise of Crew Dragon's popularity. Along with Starliner's glitches and constant efforts to rectify them, the media and broadcasts simultaneously portrayed SpaceX's immense praises. Another eye-catching comparison was the spacesuit's design proposed by both agencies. Boeing issued a blue tucked uniform with heavy outfit features, while SpaceX came out with a trendy black and white tuxedo suit. The Crew 1 members also stated the ease of using the latter over the trials they had with Boeing's uniform. We all know of Tesla's technology of developing automated cars. Elon Musk has indeed adopted the highest level of artificial intelligence and advanced systems in his working strategies. The Crew Dragon's interiors are also designed on the same lines, with 3 sophisticated panels arranged for the controls. In contrast, Boeing Starliner offers the old-style interiors with the same levers and jockeys to run and navigate the ship. The Crew 1 astronauts have found the new shift to touchscreens a very feasible design for easy understanding and work. The capsule is partially automated with intelligent and advanced systems to aid travelers in operating their controls efficiently and with ease. The current scenario. April 2021 marked a milestone as the Crew 2 space mission offered by SpaceX, which successfully traveled and docked to the ISS with a plan of a 6-month trip. It is currently scheduled to return around November 2021. September 2021 also witnessed a successful trip of Musk's Inspiration 4, which flew 4 civilians to orbit and returned in the decided time frame. Musk's SpaceX is now out on the adventure to promote space travel and tourism, with a list of Crew Dragon spacecraft scheduled to take off in the coming years. While the world and NASA are waiting for the successful launch of the Spaceliner around the end of the year or probably 2022, SpaceX is continuously making colorful endeavors promising unimagined reality. Are you rooting for the Starline, or have you shifted all your bets on SpaceX? Who do you think is going to be NASA's ultimate buddy in the Commercial Crew program? The race is not yet finished, and the wind might change anytime. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel as we bring you the freshest snippets regarding all things space. Goodbye.